Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Barnstable, Unitarian Universalist, where love guides us. We acknowledge that our church and lands rest upon the unceded ancestral territory of the Wampanoag people, who have lived and been sustained in this area for over 12,000 years. I am the Reverend Dr. Kristen Harper, and my pronouns are she and hers. I extend a special welcome to our visitors and encourage you to join us after the service for fellowship and coffee. If you'd like to know more about Unitarian Universalism or this congregation, please fill out the guest card that you'll find in the pew rack in front of you and hand it to an usher or to me. If you're joining us online, we we welcome you as well and invite you to fill out the contact form, which you'll find online on our website, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Here, we celebrate the participation and presence of people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and gender nonconforming. Here, Black and migrant lives matter. Here, we lift up the climate crisis in which we find ourselves and promote the values of a sustainable planet. Here, we support democracy, justice, and compassion. I invite you to greet one another, rise in body or spirit, and say hello.
Good to see you.
Good morning. I call your attention to the announcements in the order of service. I have 3. Easter is coming up on the 20th, and we have a tradition here of buying plants in honor of or in memory of people we love. If you wish to participate, there's a sign-up sheet in Warren Hall where you can put the names of who the plant is honoring, which will be included in our Easter bulletin. The plants are, $15 each, and you can make a check out to UCB with Easter plants in the memo line. This month, our community outreach team has connected us with Latinx in Action, an organization based in Hyannis that provides services to immigrant families. We are collecting bagged beans, white rice, vegetable oil, coffee, and sugar. Please bring your donated items into Warren Hall, where we have a box to hold everything. My last announcement is, for those of you who don't know, you are invited to participate in coffee hour by providing coffee hour. For years, we've had 2 main people doing it, and Patty Kenyon and Joanne Miller-Buntage, and we have people who join them and help. Well, Joanne is going to need back surgery soon. So she is in a lot of pain and can't stand, so she is stepping back from coffee hour for a while, which means we need to step up. That's what we do in community, is when one person steps back, we step up. So I'm inviting you to step up and join us. Thank you.
In the ways of thy command.
Suzanne Wall, will you light our chalice this morning? Suzanne represents all the people coming back from Florida. Thank you. The Reverend Daniel Cantor wrote, "To love life is to notice the wonders that abound. And to notice the wonders that abound is to be grounded here and now. And to be grounded here and now is the beginning of ending love for this life today, for acknowledging love for this life today. Let us ground ourselves in this moment and embrace the life we share together." Please rise in body or spirit and join me in the affirmation in unison printed in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is the sacrament, and the service is prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant together. Please join me in the children and youth affirmation. We believe in unity. We believe in community. We believe each of us has the power to make a difference in the world. Our opening hymn is number 331 in your gray hymnal, "Life is the Greatest Gift of All." Please be seated. Each week, we take time to lift up the joys and sorrows in our lives, the things for which we are grateful, the things that challenge us. We call to mind those people who are struggling, those people who are in emotional or physical pain, those people who are ill or taking care of others who are ill. I invite you to come down the center aisle now in 2 lines, pick up a pebble, bless it with your joy, your sorrow, your gratitude, your concern, and place it into our community waters of hope and compassion. I have been listening to our hymnal for a long time, since 1993 when it came out. I was administrative assistant to the Hymnal Commission and to the staff person who was on the Hymnal Commission. And I have to say that even though I've been listening to them since 1993, they never fail to move me when I just hear the music. And today in particular, that was beautiful, so thank you. Please join me in a moment of prayer and reflection. Source of love and comfort, gracious divine, we lift our hearts in gratitude for one another, for the comfort and joy we provide each other, for the laughter and love we share, for gardening tips and the beauty of the new growth of spring. We send our light and healing thoughts to all who are ill, all who are struggling, all who are scared and anxious. We open our spirits to receive the support of a warm voice over the phone, a friendly face in the pew next to us. Today, may we find peace in accepting the now. May we discover strength in each activity that connects us with others and with the natural world around us. May we find resilience in loving and supporting others. May we use this time to renew, rebuild, begin new relationships. And may we feel in our bones the heartbeat of the world. Today is the first Sunday in April, and on the first Sundays of the month, we take what is called a split plate collection, where half of the monies we receive go to a nonprofit whose mission aligns with our own. This and last month's split plate goes to the Association to Preserve Cape Cod. APCC has helped restore natural resources in every town, procured better environmental policy at the county, state, and federal level, and brought in millions of dollars to improve, protect, and preserve Cape Cod. During this time when funding is being cut on every level, our gifts, however much they are, can really help this vitally important organization. Please give as generously as you can. The morning offering will now be received. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in the dedication and offering doxology printed in your order of service. We were supposed to have a testimonial by Nancy Rizzio, but she has a very bad cold and is unable to give one. And I know I have spoken about stewardship earlier last month, but the other night I was reminded again about how important this community is. The membership committee under the leadership of Carol Ewing gathered us together to interact and get to know our newer members and friends. In the midst of all the anxiety most of us are experiencing, we got a chance to be grounded in one another. We shared our gifts of food and companionship. We played together and laughed together. It was a chance to bond. While not every member and friend was able to come, your spirit too was felt. Your love was expressed. One of my favorite responsive readings in our hymnal is by George Ordell. We need one another. And we do. We need the children and youth not just because they are the future of our faith, but because they provide the example of looking with wonder and curiosity at the world. They help us live deeply and embrace life fully. They are reminders of what we are leaving in the wake of our time here on earth. We need one another to help us find strength and courage to resist not just the authoritarian regime we are living under, but to resist the pull to hide and protect just ourselves and our families. Together, we are called to resist, to protest, to demand justice for ourselves, for migrants, for trans folk, for Black, Indigenous, and people of color, for the elderly, for the poor, for the neurodiverse and the developmentally challenged. Because we value diversity, equity, and belonging, we stand in defiance of white supremacy culture. Because we value freedom of religion and freedom of speech, we stand in opposition to Christian nationalism. Excuse me. It's not the flowers, I promise. And it's not a cold, it's just dust. Because we value participatory democracy, we stand against authoritarianism and the rule of the wealthy. By making a pledge to this church, you are saying that you are a part of what we do here. You hold ownership. By making a pledge, you're committed to standing up and speaking out. By making a pledge, you are working towards creating a better world than we have yet made. By making a pledge, you are acknowledging that this faith community is important to you and our wider community. I now invite, the children and youth and anyone who's going to the Children and Youth Center to do so now. The rest of us will stand and sing hymn 413, Go Now in Peace. Please be seated. Give me a moment. Adam Zagajewski, a Polish poet and novelist, said, "You must praise the mutilated world." Now this reading is called The Stubborn Gifts of Breath and Life by retired UU minister, the Reverend Dr. Maureen Killoran. It felt like being on the moon, walking on Mount St. Helens. Just a few years previous, that mountain had blown her top, destroying human and animal life, flattening vegetation and buildings for miles, and sharing its ash with the world. As we stepped from our car, we felt that ash drift like talcum around our ankles, rise in the air, enter our breath. I know what that feels like. All was gray, gray as far as you could see. Silence seized us for the longest time as we stood there, two irrelevant humans in this huge, mutilated world. Only gradually did our eyes slow and our hearts focus. Only gradually did we begin to see what was really before us. How had we overlooked the fireweed that perennial volunteer, its brilliant buds proclaiming, "Hey world, we're back." What blocked us from celebrating the eager insect conversations around us? It was right there before us, and we nearly walked away. Overwhelmed by the devastation, we almost missed the tiny pond, its surface literally dancing with more tadpoles than I had ever seen. We do this, you see. We ensnare ourselves with the magnitude of what the poet called the mutilated world. We get busy and troubled and frightened, and then incongruously, it is time for Thanksgiving. I at least need this season to remind myself to be grateful for the intermittent beauty and the stubborn gifts of breath and life. Maybe you too, need this season, even if just quietly to say, praise be. I'm going to invite you into a moment of silence and meditation. Blessed be. I've heard a number of UU ministers claim that we UUs trust in life. Trust in life. When I first heard these words, I thought of the movie Jurassic Park, where even though the dinosaurs created were all female, and they weren't supposed to be able to have offspring, and yet they did. When the amazement of this feat is expressed by one character, Dr. Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, responds, "Life will find a way." When we witness the rebirth of flowers and trees in the spring, when we see the return of the birds, when our wild siblings give birth year after year, when the sun rises as it eventually will, it is easy to see why one might be able to trust in life. An unnamed UU wrote, "To trust in life means to believe the flowers will bloom, the soul will be replenished." And yet, as I read the story this month on Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, I found it hard to trust in life. For those of you who don't recognize his name, Kilmar was here in the United States under protective status due to his flight when he was a teenager from the gangs in El Salvador. The 29-year-old father of three was stopped by ICE agents and erroneously told his immigration status had been changed. He was arrested, detained, and then deported back to El Salvador, where he's now imprisoned. Maryland U.S. District Court Judge Paula Zinnes ruled that the government had acted illegally. But the Trump administration, while admitting that an administrative error was at fault, said that there was nothing they could do to bring Kilmar back home. ICE also detained this past month and deported a 10-year-old girl recovering from brain cancer and her 4 siblings, all U.S. citizens, to Mexico with her undocumented parents. It's hard to trust in life When we witness all the firings of federal employees who work to help people navigate the Social Security system, to discover cures, antidotes, and vaccines for diseases that kill hundreds of thousands of people each year, who work to provide safety nets for people on the edge of poverty, on the edge of homelessness, on the throes of addiction, in the grip of a mental health crisis, in the snare of disabilities. It's hard to trust life when diversity, equity, and inclusion is being blamed for the ruin of our country, and Black, brown, and female leaders are being fired or removed from their positions because the administration says that their race and gender identities make them unqualified. It is hard to trust in life when the bad guys are winning, when evil is winning. Where are the good guys riding in to save the day? Where are the superheroes, God's defending angels? When is the arc of the universe going to bend towards justice? How, in this time of crisis and chaos, do we continue to trust life? How do we replenish our souls? How many of you have read Douglas Adams' The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? A number of you. If you had, you may remember that the answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. That's it. Just the number. No explanation, just Adam's brilliant cosmic joke about how desperately we crave answers and how rarely we get the ones we want. If you ever tried to figure out life and ended up standing in the kitchen eating cold cereal out of a box, wondering if Mercury is in retrograde again, you already know what I mean. Sometimes life gives you a roadmap, but other times, or more often, it gives you 42. A cryptic sign, a strange detour, a silence, a time of not knowing. How do we trust in life, in mystery, in the path ahead, when the answers don't make sense, or at least we can't make sense of the answers available? Our Unitarian Universalist tradition doesn't offer one right answer or a statement of beliefs that covers all our questions. What it does offer is a practice of trust without certainty, a spiritual framework grounded in choice, in curiosity, and in community. Reverend James Luther Adams, the 20th century theologian who helped shape our modern faith, put it this way: the authentic religious liberal is not the illiberal who believes belief is certain. Rather, the authentic religious liberal is the person who is willing to face the consequences of a free faith. That is the heart of Unitarian Universalism, a free faith. A free faith that lets us ask questions. A faith that lets us doubt. A faith that, instead of providing you a set point of arrival, says that the journey is the destination. You don't have to have everything figured out to belong here. In fact, if you don't have it all figured out, welcome. You are in good company. One of the most theologically profound parts of Unitarian Universalism is also one of the simplest, our seventh principle. respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. Not observers, not isolated agents, a part. Which means we are held even when we forget and deny it. It means we are connected even in moments of loss or confusion. It means that life isn't just something that happens to us. We are participating in it. We are co-creating with it. The Reverend Dr. Rebecca Parker, former president of the Star King School for the Ministry, wrote in her book, Blessing the World, "We must ground our lives in a theology of hope, not a naive hope that denies difficulty, but a hope that springs from our capacity to respond with courage and compassion. Hope grounded in the knowledge that we are not alone." Our theology of love is a communal theology. Our theology of life is a communal theology. It says we may have to work for it. We may have to seek it out sometimes. We are accountable to it, but we are a community. This is the type of trust I want to talk about. Not blind optimism. Not everything will turn out fine, cliche, but trust that grows out of love, resilience, and connection. Let us be honest, trust is easy when things are going well. But when the job disappears, when the diagnosis comes, when an insane, evil dictator comes to power, then what? That's when trust becomes spiritual work. That's when we turn not to answers, but to practices. Spiritual practice isn't about fixing things. It's about staying present, rooted, and open to trust. Even when all we value, all we hold dear, all we thought couldn't happen, does. The Irish poet and mystic John O'Donoghue captures this beautifully in his poem, For the Interim Time. You are in this time of interim, where everything seems withheld. The path you took to get here has washed out. The way forward is still concealed for you. The old is not old enough to have died away. The new is still too young to be born. We are in that interim place right now, between what was and what's not yet to be. Between a time of prosperity, widening acceptance of diversity, and support for those less fortunate, and a time that we can dream of, where everyone is accepted, where everyone is lifted up, where every voice counts and every voice is listened to. The ache of this in-between time is palpable. The fear of this in-between time is real. The temptation to rush ahead is strong. To call it a pendulum swing is powerful. To put our heads in the sand and pull the covers over our eyes is consuming. But what if this in-between time isn't a mistake? What if we see it as a time for sacred practice? In a faith that doesn't promise easy answers, our tools are not doctrines, but practices. We need these times that test us to find grounding for the other challenges we will face. We need practices that will get us through the losses we will face, the hardships that will come to us, the ultimate end that awaits each of us. Here are 5 gentle practices I return to again and again as I find myself in between. The first I call breath as a portal. Your breath is the most ancient covenant with life. It is what connects you to life. It comes and goes without permission. So I invite you to try this. Put your hand on your heart or your belly. Try breathing in to the count of 4 and holding for the count of 4 and letting go to the count of 4 and holding to the count of 4. Try it again. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Hold. I recognize that for some of us, breathing is a challenge and can be a challenge. So if you start with 1 breath in, 1 breath out, 1 breath in, 1 breath out, that let your breath remind you that you are here, that you are enough, that life is still with you. Another practice is that of candle lighting. Light a candle in the morning, not to erase the darkness, but to honor it. Let it be your whispered yes to the mystery, your act of hope that this day matters, that this new day is upon us, that this new day holds opportunities. This is liturgy in its simplest form, a light in the face of not knowing. A third practice is that of walking as a prayer. Go for a short walk, but with no destination in mind. Let the rhythm of your steps become a heartbeat of surrender. Feel the movement of your body. Settle. Let the feel of your feet on the earth be a grounding. Let movement be your amen. One of the most effective spiritual practices for us these days of seriousness and discomfort is the ritual of humor. When you find yourself spinning out, ask, what would Douglas Adams say? What would George Carlin say? What would Dave Chappelle say? Keep a sacred absurdity shelf with items or jokes of pictures that make you laugh. Laughter is a form of letting go, a kind of holy irreverence. Laughter reminds us that we are human, and that is enough. Now, the final practice is one I encourage you to do every day, and it's companioning. Never has it been so crucial to maintain and grow our relationships. Trust builds in the connections we nurture. Find out who your spiritual companions are, who holds space for you without needing to fix you. Who can you turn to decompress, to share your fears, your questions, your discoveries? Reach out. Text someone. Or if you're like me, just call them. Join a group. Join a committee. Join a movement. Be reminded that you are not alone. You have resources. You have a support system. A colleague once told me a story about a congregation that had started a small practice during a difficult season. Every Sunday, after joys and sorrows, someone would come forward to place a stone in a bowl. Sound familiar? Not for loss, not for a celebration, but for uncertainty. They called it the stone of not knowing. It caught on. Soon there were people every week placing stones into that bowl. One person said it was the most honest spiritual practice they had ever found. I think that bowl might be the most you object of worship I have ever heard of. Because we are people who practice courage not through certainty, but through companionship, through breathing together, through showing up, through saying, I don't know either, but I'll sit with you in the unknowing, in the uncertainty, in the fear. Life has handed us all a 42. We are wandering without a map, but we are doing the best to trust something bigger, deeper, wiser than our fear. We are not alone. We are walking the ancient, beautiful path of spiritual trust. We are living a theology of not knowing, but hoping in the love of one another, hoping in life. And this is holy. The late rapper and poet Tupac Shakur asked, "Did you hear about the rose that grew from a crack in the concrete, proving nature's laws wrong? It learned to walk without having feet. Funny, it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air." Let's keep our dreams and trust in life. If we do, we just might breathe freedom and justice into being. Our closing hymn is number 329, Life Has Loveliness to Sell. Please rise in body or spirit. Our closing words are by poet Jan Richardson. May you know the slow mystery in which longing becomes belonging. May you open to the light you cannot see. May you find that you are held, even as everything else is letting go. Please be seated.